Welcome, listeners, back to Quadrapod Studios. My name is Robin behind the cameras and buttons here. And today we've got our regular host, Kit Warren. Welcome, Kit.
Thanks, Robin.
And our guest today is Mayoral Candidate, Brendan Marshall. Welcome, Brendan.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, and I'll just throw out his contact info and social media if you want to contact Brendan about any mayoral topics.
Questions?
250-885-1570. He's Brendan Marshall 2022 at gmail.com. Twitter at Marshall for Vic. IG Brendan Marshall Victoria, as well as Brendan Marshall Victoria for Facebook. So those are all the contacts. Kit Warren, take it away, sir.
Thanks, Robin. This is a memorable event. We've never jumped into the political arena, but I think this is very important for quadrupod fans and people of Victoria to actually take some action and create some betterness in the city. And so I'm so proud to have you here, Brendan. I know that you're a stand-up guy who does business in town and who's really stood up to an action that has been severely sort of on my mind because we didn't allow masks in Quadrapod studios the whole time. And so that's sort of how I got to know you, and I'm really sort of thankful that a guy like yourself, Victorian, has stood up to giving people the oxygen that they require to run for the day.
Thanks, Kit.
Yeah.
It's been a wild couple of years for sure. And you know, being a restaurateur, my wife and I own
What's the name of the place?
a little restaurant called Sunnyside Cafe in
Cool.
Esquimalt. And this is kind of where it all
Well,
started.
Sunnyside, that's
Yeah.
everybody's happy when they go in there and get their best proteins and bacon fats. And,
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a comfort, right?
Yeah.
And we've always been about comfort and encouraging and being open to everybody. But yeah, I mean, I think last year is where it all kind of started. We became under the microscope of CTV and global.
And did that work? Positive news or any news is good news.
Well, I mean, here we were just kind of a mom and pop shop kind of going. We've got like 3 tables, and 3 little spots up on the bar. So it's and we have a patio and everything, but it's a pretty small little place, And it all kind of started when there was a mention of having these passports. These passports where you had to show proof of vaccination to go into a restaurant. And we just didn't feel right about it.
No.
We just felt that maybe that was not the right direction to take.
And it seems like
even though people were scared, I mean, everyone was at some point, I think, at some point, there was quite a bit of fear around COVID and the realities and stuff and how to go about flattening the curve and whatnot. We'd been through a lot the previous year in 2020, and we'd done so much work to protect people and whatnot, plexiglass, distancing, all this sort of thing, masking, and like we had been masking when it was required. Like we just we went along, but the passport it felt wrong to make us have to enforce this.
So basically, it was step and finally
and really, we joined the BC Businesses Against the Vaccine Passes. Tens of thousands of businesses joined that across the province. But it was interesting because when the media showed up, it was like, oh, great, they're here. I want to talk to them about it, and maybe they'll hear what I've got to say. But it was very much, there was a lot of negativity. There was also positive. And then and then it just so happened that the actual order was released. We thought it was unfair that we should have to enforce this on our regular customers that may or may not be able to take it, right? For all
Yep.
many reasons. You know, having to take an experimental treatment is something that a lot of people had an issue with. But fast forward to when the order came out, it turned out that we didn't actually, because we'd always done counter service, we didn't actually have to enforce that pass.
Good.
But we were sort of one of these establishments that you could still go and feel like a normal person and not be sort of like cast out and have to be a part of
No,
like
I went
two-tiered.
down and supported you guys down. I was very proud to have breakfast there with me.
And you feel normal, right?
Yeah.
It gave people an opportunity to go, and meanwhile people are cramming into Costco and cramming into A&W, and you
it's
could
a
go
lot
to
of
McDonald's or Tim Hortons, but you couldn't go to a little mom and pop shop. But it did end up happening. We got threatened. We got threatened by all sorts of different people. The police came down just because they had to, because people had complained.
Yep.
But there was no fines. We were never fined. But it was more of the attention that was the roller coaster.
Okay.
It was the talk. It was the social media. It was the phone calls and a lot of hatred. Right?
Really?
Yeah. People were
So a lot
really
of fear,
people,
and able to release that fear on something that they thought might be increasing the viruses. But it's a known fact that somebody that receives oxygen is going to have a better immune system. Why would you suppress the oxygen to an individual that was already maybe a candidate to get sick?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us too, it's like you come in, you order your food, you sit down, and anybody, if people that wore masks, we treat everyone different. Not everybody could wear a mask.
Yep.
So we respected people's exemptions.
Perfect.
And some people wore masks anyway because they were comfortable to do so. And then as soon as you sit down in your seat, that's when you take your mask off. Apparently, right? That's the way it went the whole time. And we just tried to be as loving and as respectful and as together as we could for people.
And is that how you survived through all this? Like, you're still running the business, you're still going,
things are moving along. The one of the coolest parts of the whole thing was when as COVID started to, businesses all over started to open up and restrictions started to lift, and families started to come out of the woodwork and start to meet each other again. They hadn't seen each other for a long time. So watching like moms and daughters and sons and fathers, people that hadn't seen each other for a long time,
having conversations.
They were coming back because maybe, and you don't always know exactly what was going on with them, but I would sometimes, they'd tell me a bit of their story, and quite often it would be like one of them had the vaccine and the other one didn't, and so like vice versa, it was either mom or the kid didn't, and then all of a sudden they're coming together and they hadn't seen each other or been able to go out together for a long time.
It was a connector.
And you see some people kind of like looking around, like almost like they just come out from under a rock or something, and Sunnyside's the first place that they came to when they went to see their family member or their friend. And so that was really cool to see the transformation taking place of people getting used to coming back and just doing normal things in life. So that was really cool to see that transition too.
Is some of these experiences that you've been sort of pushed through the reason why you've run for mayor?
I definitely think that it's given me more strength in a sense to be able to know and to be able to expect what it can be like standing up for other people.
Yeah.
And I think that more so now in this coming election, I think that people, for other reasons, need to have a strong voice, be able to stand up for their needs. We have some pretty big issues in Victoria.
They're heavy.
We've got, people.
What do you do before we break into these I know you've got a platform that you're preparing, and you've done a lot of homework on solutions to a bunch of these things. But the thing that impresses me the most is, we were introduced from our rock star buddy Tal Bachman, and then I get to know you, and I sort of challenged you out to the swim,
which was super awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember I first came in here to Quadrapod studio to drop off some brochures. Tal's wife had recommended to go down and talk to you and give you some paperwork to show to your people and stuff. And we got talking, and I was like, what is going on down here? I mean, these guys, this is cool. Like, this place was cool. I'm like, this is different. I kind of feels like there's something pretty cool happening down here. And then you started telling me about cold water swimming, and how there's a group of people, they call themselves the minnows, that go down to mile zero, the mile zero minnows. I was like, wow, this is pretty intense. Like, this is like a polar bear swim every day. Whoa, like this, people do this once a year, don't they? And then I'm finding out they're doing this every day. And you did. You said you got to come down, and jump in the ocean.
And the reason, is because you're now you're creating strength. So in a time that you just went through, where it was possible sicknesses, you can go to the ocean and flush your nose and ear canals, and then be protected from sickness. You're boosting that immune. So a group of people have been getting together and doing this, and it just has been expanding. And when I saw that you were running for mayor, I thought, wow, this is such a cool thing to be able to do, to show and lead the people that you want to protect by action. And I was very proud to see you show up. And now I've challenged the minnows, or challenging all candidates that want to represent the people of Victoria, which we care about, we love. They should have people that are looked up to, powerful, based on their practices. I think that's the first step. So to see you take that challenge and to complete, I think it's 6 days in a row of swimming, what kind of things is that doing for you in other parts of your life?
Well, I believe I think I did 8 days in a row.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
See, I'm off. I took 2 days off in Salt Spring.
I had to skip yesterday.
Yep.
And I'm already regretting it, because after a week jumping in the ocean every morning, I gotta admit, like, it's really invigorating.
Cool.
Like, it really does something to you. I've been, at first, it was, every day is different. I've noticed. It's hard to explain. Every day is a little bit different, but it definitely wakes you up. It gives you sort of this shot of adrenaline, and just kind of really gets you going for your day. I did miss yesterday. I have to admit.
Yeah.
I admit I did miss.
And you feel the difference.
And I'm looking forward to jumping in there today at some point. But the I had to work.
Well, you're gonna have lots of these demands, and meeting the demands is one of
one of the things too. Like, every time I was going down there, I was like, this is a privilege. Like, I really feel privileged to be able to go down there at 9 a.m. and actually have the opportunity to do that. So thanks to my wife for
really cool
making things work out at work, so I can get away and do that.
Can I ask how long you stayed in the water? Do you think, roughly?
When I'm so blissed out when I'm in there, I don't keep track of time. I don't have a watch or anything.
He's done a couple 20-minute.
I've been in there and I start to think, I should probably get myself out.
Yeah.
But I've been in there for, sometimes people are getting out of the water. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should go. But once you're in, it's just so nice and comfortable. You just settle in.
One challenge I can throw at you too, on the days that you're not able to go to the ocean, I imagine you still have a shower. So you could try just doing a couple minutes under the coldest cold of your shower as well.
Robin does the cold
That's my
showers.
main
Yeah.
source of the cold water
I've
treatment.
noticed I already prefer a cold. I used to turn the heat up in the shower,
Yeah.
but I'm noticing now I actually prefer it on the cooler side. It's
Because your balance, your
yeah.
circulation is happening, so you actually regulate better.
Yeah, I noticed that today. I was like, this is just I gotta cool this off. As soon as I got it colder, I felt kind of more normal.
So using this new practice in specifically for the mayor race, do you notice changes in the way people approach you? Do you notice other things that are
They come at me now. I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like kung fu.
Yeah, all the
Okay?
yin.
I'm like, I'm just like a kung fu cat right
So
now.
you're not being pulled into fights of fear and those types of things.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
Like
And are you able to then sort of assist, a person that's coming to you and asking you, what are you going to do about these bike lanes, or what are you going to do about this? Is it really answerable, or is it something that people are just upset
well,
at some of these
yeah.
processes?
Well, it's incredible how many people I've been speaking to over the last,
Mhm.
couple of months in particular. I've been setting up pop-up tents here, there, and everywhere all over town in
Yep.
different neighborhoods, and just getting in the middle of it
Mhm.
and engaging with the public. And it's, people are, it's, it's emotional.
Mhm.
People are really concerned.
And that's sort of one of your platforms is Victoria First. So tell me a little bit about your solutions to their concerns,
Yeah.
or how are you able to be their voice?
Well, I think first off, you need to be open,
Yep.
and that's what I want to be the best I can be at, is to be open to everybody and to be accessible and to really work with the neighborhoods. We have 13 different neighborhood associations,
Okay.
and I think we really need to give everybody the attention that they deserve,
Mhm.
and we need to really think of the needs of Victorians first before the bigger picture things that seem to kind of slide in sometimes. I think it's I like to stay positive,
Yep.
and but sometimes you kind of have to address the elephant in the room. And part of the reason why I decided to run in Victoria is because I really feel like there's more of a need now than there ever has been. Um, just the way things have been going, uh, and I think that we just need honest people. That I have no affiliation with any political parties. I'm just my own person.
And is this sort of one of the actually benefits for voting for you, is no agendas, no overlord structures can sort of impose their will upon you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. Yeah, I'm not interested in special interest groups. I think
Mhm.
that municipal government should really just focus on the basics, and make sure that the roads are taken care of. Make sure that the water's clean, and that the city is accessible to everybody. Um, keeping a safe place for people so they can go to the parks and enjoy the parks without fear of some of the hazards that are out there nowadays.
There's a lot of hazards that people are concerned with, and in the heart of the city, we've got some serious issues, and people are being treated worse than pets. They're below animals, and we have a lot of ideas for solutions. What are some of the things that you are actually thinking about that will work?
Yeah. Well, there's a tremendous amount of money has been spent right, on different programs and whatnot that haven't really improved the situation.
You mean the purchasing of
That's,
hotels and
yeah, like one of them. The amount
wild.
of money that is spent on some of these programs is mind-boggling,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people aren't talking about it. I mean,
Yep.
at least during the election, people are concerned about affordable living and about mental health and drug addictions, people on the street. It's really it's it's tragic. You look around and the disparity, right? And I I don't want to get to the point where we're desensitized to the
Mm-hmm.
point where we just are stepping over people. This is absurd. These are
Yes, and
human
it's
beings.
happening.
Yeah, these are human beings, and now, they're just, you look the other way because it's too painful, I think, for people to look at now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we absolutely have to hold the province to account for stepping up, and we need more funding from the province and from the federal government, because a lot of these social challenges that we have facing now in the city are far beyond what the city alone can deal with.
Yeah.
It's a bigger problem. It's a national problem, and obviously COVID has accelerated it.
Well, and it's basically brought a bunch of mental health conditions into play,
Yeah.
and these are people that are stable people that have jobs, people that are making an income. So solutions for all walks of life is sort of uh, what I need mean what needs to be addressed is everybody's
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, I mean, having affordable housing is so big. It's and how to get there, is
Is
it's
it
a
a steps to get there, or what's the first thing that you would address that would sort of really give an opportunity for that to
well,
happen?
I mean, some of it is the banking issues now.
Yep.
We've been running on cheap money for a while,
Hmm.
and COVID once again uh, has sort of accelerated that. It's prolonged low interest rates and stuff, right? So, but as interest rates start to go up in order to sort of combat inflation, I mean, these are banking issues that are
Yeah.
happening on at a high level, right?
Hmm.
As a municipality, can't really do much about interest rates, but we can give incentives to builders to build more affordable housing.
Yep.
Um, we can we don't have to have apartments with
So
the fanciest.
you do have some control. You can put your foot down and manipulate the actions to get your reactions that you want.
Yeah, well, we can definitely make incentives for builders to build more affordable. But part of that too is we need, when a developer comes along, they need to know what they can expect that they're getting into. So, having a zoning that's that, if you go in and you start building, it's going to get approved.
Hmm.
Um, Now, I don't know if you've heard too much about the missing middle housing initiative that was been developed over the last several years by the current mayor and council. It sort of touches on a blanket zoning, so you can build multiplexes on what is normally a single family detached home.
Okay.
It's doesn't really address all the problems in Victoria, but it will help densify over time. But of course, residents are upset about it.
Hmm.
They think that their neighborhoods could just get trashed and just bulldozed, and unsightly buildings getting built. I think that we can come up with a zoning blanket that is tasteful, where the neighborhood associations have uh, they have a say in the form and character. So we preserve the charm of the
Hmm.
neighborhoods. But that's just a part of densifying.
Yep.
We need to focus on areas of the city, I think, that we haven't really been looking at in the northern parts of the municipality and through the Douglas corridor and Midtown.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can create really nice neighborhoods for families and young people and have businesses and people can live close to where they work and sorts of things in those areas. But once again, we're going to need to make incentives for builders to create these places.
Well, and then people moving into these buildings, a lot of the fears are the fact that it's wild downtown, and even businesses have people tenting in front of their door, and you got to walk over people. So it's sort of a combination of a whole bunch of issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And working with all of the the police and the municipality places of outreach and sort of organizing. It seems to me like a rugby team. You got to sort of sit down with your team of people that are handling all of these separate areas and work together as a collective.
I just had a really good conversation with the chief of police, Del Manick, a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
We were set to talk for 45 minutes, and we went well beyond that. Really good talk. I knew things were bad in Victoria.
Yep.
As far as crime and violent crime,
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know they were as bad as it's really bad now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. We're seeing it. There was just a massive brawl in the up at Stadacona Park this morning.
Okay.
There's like a big issue up there, but that's not even the it's not even the tip of the iceberg. People that are at risk that have been given homes downtown in these hotels in Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, you've got violent criminals, drug dealers and whatnot, going into these buildings and kicking out residents that are living there and saying, I'm taking this over. Get out of here. If you have a problem with it, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are out living in the park again. Cops are going by saying, what's going on? What's the matter? What, didn't you get a room in one of these hotels? And they can't go. And they say, well, we can't go back now because these bad guys are in there and they're gonna stab us if we go back. And the police won't even go in anymore. It's that bad. They will not even go into those hotels.
So now
it's too dangerous.
They're creating kind of like New Jack City crime buildings.
Yeah. So it's like, but people say, a valid question, like, what are you going to do about it? And what I, discussed with the chief, and I've spoken to other people that work in harm reduction and whatnot, and people that work in the industry, for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has become kind of like an industry now, hasn't it?
Sure has.
And what I want to do is bring the people that are most experienced and that are most heart-centered when it comes to these issues.
Mm-hmm.
All hands on deck. We need to bring people together. I'll bring the police. I'll bring the people that work in all these different societies, Our Place, Kool-Aid, Rock Bay, all these ones.
Mm-hmm.
You get all the people with the most experience. You get them into one room, and you don't come out of that room until we have something that we can take to the province, something that we can take to council, and we can start to shift. Because if we keep doing the same thing that we're doing, we're going to keep getting the same results, and those results are getting worse and worse.
Yep.
So this is what I'm suggesting, and I think that there's enough people in this city that have seen enough of the pain and the suffering and the mismanagement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the current mayor and council are the epitome of the entrenched mismanagement class.
Yep.
And you got to call it what it is.
Mm-hmm. And that, it seems like one of the largest issues that's facing Victoria. It's just growing at an alarming rate. I walk to Quadrapod Studios every day through this mass amount of homelessness, and now they're being fed on by stronger bullies, and that's even going to just escalate.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of it. You get the dealers and the crooks, the violent people. They start coming in afterwards, and it's terrible.
So moving, past that major topic that it's going to need a whole team of people for solutions, and an open conversation with those experts. What's going to assist funding that? The province, or are there other?
Yeah. I mean,
other...
absolutely. I mean, I believe that the province. This is a major problem that we're not just seeing in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria is a microcosm in itself. I mean, once you get to Victoria, however you get to Victoria, the more the more trouble you get in as far as whether it's your mental health or drug addiction or whatever. It's a city you can get into, but it's easy. It's harder to leave.
Yeah.
Sort of
it's an island.
It's an island, right?
Yeah.
So when your chips get down here, they can get down pretty bad, and then you really have nowhere to go. But this is a problem that we're seeing everywhere, and Kamloops, we're seeing problems. Princeton, Prince George, right? Kelowna. This isn't anything that's just happening in Victoria. This is happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of disparities, and the province once again needs to be up on funding programs that are heart-centered programs, but programs that help people get their lives back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, but it's also, I mean, I see other sort of alternative forms of healing also cropping up, which is really cool. To see what you guys are doing here, is really big. I mean, for anyone to get their feet back on the ground, and then be able to, get into cold water, swimming, and there's so many different these sorts of things that are happening organically. I think is also a really good thing.
Works for all of the issues, because most of the issues that are happening are at that person's center. And we look at some of the other things that you're standing up for in reconciliation and the environment. When you clean that environment, which is yours, you're able to then go out to this other outside environment, which is Victoria, and meet other people, show them solutions, show them a pathway to actually lead in their little section. You said 14 different neighborhoods. Calling out the leaders of those communities to come swim with the minnows will then, when they go back to that community, they're showing a light in solution based, and then others will follow that, and it just grows organically. So we have the abilities
to have that element right at our doorstep is pretty phenomenal, right? To have the ocean right there.
It's a gift.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Like I really think about that. Like it's a privilege, it's a gift, it's a resource. It connects you with nature. It brings you back, for just that moment while you're in there. It's just almost like you could go back into the womb in a sense. You're back. You're sort of connected with Mother Nature in a way that you just don't get anywhere else but in the ocean, right?
Well, and that's the other thing with that is driving all this. The economy is then slowed down by what's happening in the city. So to come back from the ocean and bring up your abilities, you're actually going to boost your restaurant. People coming in, they're gonna see that business is actually flourishing because you have the elements to fund everything and work everything and do the tasks needed.
Yeah, it definitely it brings an energy out in anyone that goes down there, and I would recommend to give it a try. I would give it a try. Don't be afraid. Like,
yeah,
swim with the minnows.
So looking at your platform, why would somebody in Victoria vote for you? Like, what is the top reason? Is it because you're independent and you're not connected to, mandates from your political party? Or is it because you're ocean swimming? Is it because you're a business guy in the city? Or, what's the reason I should vote for you?
All of the above.
Yeah, all of the above.
And that, I think that I'm a practical thinker.
Yep.
I like to keep things as practical as possible. I don't like to go on too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I'm definitely someone that doesn't have any political baggage when it comes to living up to a party's expectations or an interest group's expectations or anything like that. I sort of bring a freshness and a newness to the mayor's chair that we don't have,
Mm-hmm.
or that we wouldn't normally have. And like I said, a small business person, practical thinking person, a family person. I have 2 young kids in elementary school, and I see sort of I can identify with the older generation as well as the younger. I mean, technically, I think I may be a millennial actually, because I'm born in 1980.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of right on the cusp there, and I can identify with the different people's needs, and
You're gonna.
I think that I'm a good choice for change and for practicality.
So common sense and balance back to.
I want to bring harmony. I mean, there's been so much discord
Mm-hmm.
over the last several years, and so I'd like to bring harmony back to the city. Someone said once, not too long ago, that that Victoria used to be a city of gardens.
Yeah.
And now it's become a city of gates.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to bring it back to more of a city of gardens where everyone can afford to live here and to flourish, to do business here, and for everybody. And that's my goal over the next 4 years, is to give it my best. I'm gonna give it all in all, and leave it in a much better place than I picked it up at.
Well done. Well, I'm born and raised in Victoria, and I love the city. I care deeply about the people here, and my network and myself are getting. You're getting our votes, and
Thank you so
I'm
much.
going to call out to all of the people that have supported me and that I've supported to get out there, vote for Brendan, and get somebody in that is actually going to change things that are unbalanced. And it has been an unbalanced, like a discord, like you said, for a couple years, and that's not only in the city of Victoria, but that's the globe. So to have somebody that has the people's voice, I'm so proud to have you here and have you on the show. And I want to thank you for coming on and reaching out to a city that needs your help. And I'm going to look forward to raising you up as the mayor and holding you to some of the things that we talked to today, because that accountability is
absolutely important. Yeah,
is what it's about.
Thank you so much, Kit.
Yeah. Last.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Brendan. And for those interested, again, please check out mayormarshall.com and and we did all the social medias at the beginning. Please check that out and follow him and get out there and vote October 15th. It's important. Our future depends on us.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Tune in next time to Quadrapod Studios. We've got another episode coming up later this week. Alrighty. Take care, everybody. Namaste.